Winning matches in football is not only about good offense, but it's also about a very good defense. So every team needs a reliable center back to prevent getting scored on. But most defenders make the same mistakes, and today we fix that. If you ever panicked under pressure and didn't know whether to clear it or to play short, this video will change the way you defend. I'm going to break down 3 center back essentials that separate average defenders from leaders on the pitch. So let's talk about the first thing that every top center back has to get right, and that is decision making under pressure.
So let's take a look at our U12 age group. As you can see, we are the orange team playing against the white team. So the white team is attacking, they play to their center back, and they shift the ball to their left back. Now, from the left, they switch the ball to the middle and they send a through ball into the space. Now, if you take a look, we're playing with 3 in the back. Our right center back is on the ball right now and he's under pressure with the opponent's striker. As you can see, there's tons of space to his left that he can exploit, and we have our winger and our center mid wide open. But instead, under pressure, he decides to play it back to our center back, which is not a good decision because he's putting him under pressure. The best decision in this situation, if our center back wanted to make, was to fake that he's going to reset the ball, but instead take the space to his left. But as you can see here, the only option for our middle center back was to kick it out of pressure because he reset the ball to him and he couldn't do anything because he had 2 forwards pressing up to him. So these are the differences that a good center back has compared to an average center back. The decision making under pressure is very different. So let's take a look at the second scenario here. Our goalkeeper plays it to our center back receives the ball, he's under pressure with 2 of the opponent's strikers. He has 3 options to play. He has our right back to play the ball to, which then we can find the winger. He has our center mid option, which is not really showing here because he's not dropping enough as he should be. And he can also play it long to our striker. He cannot reset to the goalkeeper because the striker is cutting that passing lane. But instead he decides to kick it straight to the opponent's striker, and we almost got scored on there. So we have to always make sure that if you're a center back, you're scanning before you receive the ball and you have identified your options before you receive the ball. That way, when that ball comes to you, you exactly know what you have to do.
Before you even receive the ball as a center back, your body position decides everything. Whether you're going to lose possession, you're going to play forward, or you're going to stay calm. In this next clip, we're going to talk about how a small shift in your body shape can completely change the outcome and how you have to adjust your body as a defender in different situations.
Now let's take a look at the third scenario here. Our goalkeeper plays it to our fullback. Our fullback recognizes that he has a lot of space to his right before he receives the ball. And if we take a look at his body positioning, we can see that he's adjusted his body to be able to receive the ball into space. As he takes his first touch forward, he recognizes that our center mid is free and is checking in, so he can play him. And once he plays in the pass, our center mid finds our winger, and from there we progress to the final third. So this is a really good example that our defender was aware of where the space is, and he was able to make a correct decision under pressure, because once he attracted the opponent's players, then our center mid became free to be able to find him. In the next scenario, as we can see, the striker resets the ball to our center back. Our center back plays it to our fullback. Now, if we freeze it here, we can see the first thing that is crucially important for our fullback is adjusting his body. So his body is not adjusted correctly based on his position because right now he's not facing the field. So the first thing that he has to keep in mind is making sure that he's aware of his body positioning. So that body positioning is not wrong if you're playing on the wings, but if you're playing a fullback kind of like a center back, which is more tucked in and inverted, you have to be facing the field because you're playing more in the middle area of the pitch. So that's why, as we can see, he has to take 2 touches, 1 touch to control and the second touch out of his feet, and then with a third touch he has to play the ball, which is too much time on its own especially in the advanced level that you really have no time on the ball. Now, the next decision that we can take a look is that he has two options, our center mid or our winger. Now, he recognizes that these two players are free, so he decides to play to our center mid. So the second part, which was the decision making on the ball, was correct. But the first thing that was very important was his body positioning. So that's very important as a defender to adjust your body accordingly.
Alright, now let's talk about something that every center back eventually faces in the game, getting caught in a one-on-one situation. In the next clip, our center back gets caught in a one-on-one situation against the opponent's striker. But now the question is, what should you do as a center back when you get caught in a 1v1 situation? Let's break it down together.
In the next scenario, it's a counterattack from the opponent. Their striker beats our fullback, beats our center back in a one-on-one scenario, and scores in the back of the net. Now, if we play it back to see what our center back could have done better, we can see that in this situation, it was a one-on-one scenario between our center back and their striker. And our center back had to be aware of the situation that our teammates are dropping back to help. So all he had to do was to slow down the striker and to force him away from the net. The last thing that he wanted to do in this situation was to jump in, and the last thing you want to do in this situation is to jump in, because that's exactly what the striker wants. When you jump into the challenge, all of your momentum is going forward so they can easily get past you. The next scenario is a turnover from the opponent. So our winger receives the ball, he resets to our fullback, and as we can see here, when our fullback receives the ball, if he takes a look at the opponent and how high they're pressing, he has two options here. The first option is to play our opposite winger on the far side, or the other option is to reset to our goalkeeper, which then resets the game and everybody gets back to their positions, and now we can play out from the back again and we can actually have possession. But instead, he decides to play our winger and put him under more pressure, and in that situation our winger lost the ball and it was another turnover to the opponent. So again, it's very important for you to be aware of the situation, be aware of the pressure, and be aware of where the space is, and based on your awareness, make the best decision.
But a very important point as a defender is that you cannot make the right decision if you don't see the full picture in your head. Correct decision making only comes when your awareness is sharp, when you already know what's going on around you before the ball arrives at your feet. Let's take a look at how sharp awareness separates good defenders from the ones who panic under pressure, and see how we can improve our awareness under pressure before the ball arrives to your feet.
Now, if we take a look at the next scenario, our goalkeeper has the ball, he rolls it to our fullback. Now, if we take a look here, our fullback receives the ball, he has a lot of space to his right, and he has the opponent's striker that is pressing him at the moment as well. So the best decision in this situation is to exploit the space and take the space and carry the ball. But instead, he just decides to kick it up and kind of hope for the best. And that is exactly what you shouldn't do as a defender. It is very important that you as a defender set the tone for the game. If you recognize that you have a lot of space, a lot of times you have to carry the ball and take the space and attract pressure. Once you attract pressure, then you can release the ball to your winger, to your center mid, or to your center forward. The next scenario that we're going to take a look at is when the ball resets to our fullback resets to our goalkeeper, and our goalkeeper plays it to our right back this time. When our right back receives the ball, if we freeze it here, we can see that he has a lot of space to make his decision. He's not under pressure, and he has our center mid wide open, who's ready on the half turn to receive the ball and progress through the field. But instead, again, he just decides to kick it up the field and hope for the best. And again, this shows that there's no awareness, there's no decision making. He doesn't know where the pressure is, where's the space, where's my teammates. And that's exactly the questions that you have to answer every time that you receive the ball. So before you receive the ball, you have to know where is the space, where's my teammates, and where is the pressure coming from. If you want to play it long, you have to find a teammate and never just kick it up and hope for the best.
So we've covered all the essentials that you need to be a great center back. One-on-one scenarios, awareness, staying calm under pressure, and correct body positioning. These movements happen every single game, and mastering them will make you a much calmer center back and you'll make much better decisions. Keep working on these details and you'll notice how much better you are getting in the game.